Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about my second favorite way to make half square triangles, and that is the Magic 8 or 8 at a time method. As the name suggests, with this method you get 8 half square triangles from 2 squares of fabric. The math for this is a little bit more complicated than the 2 at a time method, in that you take your finished half square triangle size, you add 1 and then multiply by 2. So in this case I need 4-inch half square triangles, so I add 1, that's 5, multiply by 2, it's 10. So I have 2 10-inch squares here of fabric. If that confuses you, fear not, I have a blog post that I will link to in the description, as well as a downloadable PDF chart that has all the math already done for you. So let's get to making the 8 half square triangles. So the first thing we'll need to do is mark one of these. So I'm going to move this one out of the way, and on the back side, on the wrong side of one of the fabrics, you will need to mark 2 lines. So basically you make a cross from corner to corner. And my ruler is not long enough, so here's how I do that. I take my ruler with my 45-degree line and I line it up with that edge, and I make sure that it's right there at the corner, and I start drawing my line, and then I just make sure to connect that line with the corner down here. Oops, it's not the best line ever, but that's okay. And now we need to do a second line from this corner up to that one. So I'm gonna repeat that same process, lining up my 45-degree line here. Whoops. I'm going to draw the line. I really need to get a new friction pen because this one's not working too well. And then I'm gonna finish out at the end. So this one's a little hard to see on camera, but I can see it fairly well in person. So you have 2 lines going from corner to corner. The next step on making half square triangles using the Magic 8 method is you take your 2 squares of fabric and you put them right sides together. So this one's a solid, so it doesn't really matter which way it's up, but if it was a print, this will be the right side. So they're right sides together, and then we would pin them. I like to just use 4 pins. So 1 here, 1 here, and I'm missing, I need 1 more. Okay, so now that they're pinned, what we're going to do is take this to the sewing machine, and we're going to be sewing using a 1/4-inch seam allowance on either side of both lines. So here, 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 and here, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm on my sewing machine and I have my 2 squares that have been marked and pinned together, and I have my 1/4-inch foot attached to my sewing machine. So now what we're going to do is sew on either side of both lines. So and the way I do that is I place it right here and I make sure that the line matches up with the edge of my 1/4-inch foot. done that side, I'm going to turn it around and sew this one. Now we'll repeat the process with the other marked line. Okay, so I'm back on my cutting table and I have my 2 sewn squares here. And the next step is actually cutting the 8 half square triangles from this sewn square. And this is where the 8 at a time method can get a little confusing or a little overwhelming for people because you are making a series of cuts. So first thing first, I am going to take out my pens. Put them up here. So what you're going to be cutting is the X, and then you're also making 2 more cuts on the center. So let me show you what that looks like. So first, I'm going to cut right on the mark lines. And again, my ruler isn't quite big enough, but that's okay. We can make it work. As long as it's sort of in the line, it will work. So I've made my first cut. Now I need to make my second cut. And all of this needs to be done without moving your fabric. And this is one of the reasons a lot, oopsies, do not do that. Yeah, that's gonna be a bad half square triangle. But this is the reason a lot of quilters like those rotating mats, because you can just rotate the mat and it makes it really easy. The last 2 cuts is up and down and then side to side. Since my squares are 10 inches, I'm just gonna line up my ruler right at the 5-inch line right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing going this way. So now we have, now you can take them apart. Now we have 8 half square triangles here, and you can press them to the dark side or you can press them open like so. I prefer to press them open, but truly it comes down to a personal preference. Okay, so I am done pressing all of my half square triangles, and like I said, I've pressed mine open. But it comes down, pressing your half square triangles and really pressing anything comes down to your personal preference. I prefer to press most things open, so that's how I've pressed my half square triangles. And the last step is to trim these, so I'm going to do that really quick. I am trimming these to 4.5 inches because I need 4-inch finished half square triangles. So I'm gonna lay this down here and trim. Okay, so I sped that up, but here are my 8 trimmed half square triangles that I did with the Magic 8 method. If you are looking for a sort of in-depth trimming tutorial for half square triangles, I'm going to link to that here at the end, and I hope you found that helpful.